Okay, so the first question is, what do you think worked really well in your salary negotiation role play? And then what strengths did you discover about yourself? And what did it feel like to advocate for yourself and the salary you deserve? That's question one.
So I
So,
think it was eye-opening maybe to look at different options as far as what could be, and it's not just the dollar amount always.
mhm,
There are other options out there to throw at people that perhaps um, might be just as enticing.
that's true. And I
Mm.
think you're the one that came up with that creative idea because I was honestly thinking straight salary in that moment and thinking how, after when I read the script, I was thinking, how are they going to possibly, accommodate
Right.
this person? This person's out of there. I mean, that
Yes.
really seemed pretty
Right.
drastic.
She really needs to leave.
Right. And I mean, and can you imagine truly being the single sole breadwinner in that situation? I'm not really sure you'd be able to hang
Yeah.
on to somebody like that
Yes. Right.
personally.
Right.
Um,
And
and
she had some great qualifications, and kept
yes,
moving herself forward, so that yeah, she would be a sad one to lose.
yes, exactly. So, okay. Question two. What was the most challenging part of the negotiation process for both of you? How would you do things differently in the future? And what resources do you need to become a better negotiator?
I think it's always practice.
Yes.
It really is. It's just
It
doing it over and over and getting yourself ready to do it,
Right.
every time.
Well, and imagine, I mean, we're, classmates and we're just doing this via video, which is
Right,
stressful in, as it is,
right.
from something different. But for me, I could be, have my thoughts together. I've told Professor Van Zetten this numerous times, and I read this numerous times, and then it's like that panic, like, oh, I'm
Yeah,
going to
it
forget,
does. You get that right in your chest, right?
Exactly, exactly. So all my, elevator pitches and all the things, strengths, I'm like, I don't have anything. What do you mean? I don't
I
know.
know. I do the same thing. Even when we did that little um, interview stream
Yes,
last week,
yes,
horrible. It was
yes.
horrible. I watched it. I couldn't even watch it. I was like, just get it in.
I know the part where we had to give ourselves feedback and look at ourselves. That was
Yes,
that was frightening, right?
yes, it was. It was.
So, okay. Number three, what did you learn from playing both the employer and employee roles together?
Hmm. Yeah,
For me, it was interesting because you're seeing both, or you're feeling both sides,
both
really.
sides.
You're
Right.
trying to, you kind of have that sinking feeling where you're like, I'm going to lose this employee because I don't have a
Mhm.
lot of fantastic things to give to them.
Right.
And I know often money talks, that's the
Mhm.
truth. And when you're like, well, I'm going to, better benefits, that person I believe has to really like the company personally.
Really. Yes, they have to really
So,
be. Yeah, I agree.
and
And,
then to
and
be the one, wanting to ask for it, even though that person clearly deserves it based on what we're reading, that's
Mhm.
uncomfortable.
Yes, it is. It is a hard place because sometimes companies are just, especially this one sounds like it's really been growing. I think they said it hadn't been that many years.
Yes,
She even had been there, and it was very small when she started. So it's hard if you're trying to get that company up and going. You don't want to lose the good people, but sometimes you just can't afford to pay them either. So it
yes,
is, really, what can I do?
right,
Um, so
right.
it is, both sides gets a little stressful.
A little sticky, right?
Yeah.
Okay, number four, based on this week's readings and this role play, why do you think salary negotiation is important?
Well, it's always, it's a big, it's not only just the paycheck, right? It's also just that feeling inside that I'm worthy, that they appreciate what I do, and so that validation I think is a big part of it.
Mhm.
And salary is just giving you that validation, but
Right.
sometimes it's really just thank you so much and makes a big difference.
Exactly. Yeah, it was interesting because in one of the readings in one of the videos, they're talking about self-advocacy all the
Mhm.
time and asking. And I think there's no harm in asking. It's just
Right.
how you're asking, obviously.
Yeah.
Um, and I thought about that because it made me think about talking about our strengths and when we were doing our pitch, our personal brand. And for me, it's getting past that feeling of feeling like I'm boasting. I don't know
Right.
how else to put it.
Yes.
And
Yes.
so it's sort of the same thing with the ask. It's like you're saying, like, well, do I deserve it?
Right.
Or that
Right.
thing. So I think it kind of runs the same a little bit.
Yeah, it's a hard position to be in. You feel uncomfortable, but yes, yeah, like look at me, I'm great. But then I think especially for women, it's very hard for us to
Yes,
see that, you know.
I completely agree.
Yeah,
So,
it
but on
puts
paper, she is pretty great. So
yeah,
that's
she
the
is
thing, right?
correct. Oh,
Okay, I think, let's make sure, that was question 5. Let me stop this.